Chosen one. They don't just see you. They study you. Every step, every word, every breath you take. They're watching. But not because you're weak. They're watching because they know something you're still discovering. That you were sent here to shift the atmosphere. And the closer you get to your breakthrough, the closer they watch. So if you've been feeling like eyes are always on you, you're not paranoid. You're being monitored, spiritually, energetically, and even physically. The world may not say it out loud, but they sense that there's something different about you, something powerful, something that cannot be explained, only observed. From the moment you started awakening to who you really are, you disrupted the normal flow of everything around you. You walk into a room and conversations shift. You sit in silence, and people feel uneasy, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your energy is undeniable. People may pretend not to notice you, but inside, they're alert. They're analyzing. They're trying to figure you out. And no matter how much they watch, they still don't get it, because what you carry isn't learned, it's assigned. They've seen people try to break you. They've watched as life threw storms at you meant to drown you. But you're still here. Not broken, but wiser. Not silent, but more discerning. You don't react like the world does, and that bothers people. Because the moment they think they've got you figured out, you move differently. You evolve again. You shed another layer. You rise higher. And now, more than ever, people are watching closely, because deep down, they know. You are no longer the same person you once were. You're stepping into alignment, into destiny. And that makes you dangerous to systems, to darkness, to anyone who benefits from confusion and control. Have you noticed how certain people who once ignored you are suddenly curious about you? Not because they support you, but because they sense the shift. They feel the heat of your purpose. Some want to stop it. Others want to copy it. And a few, they just want to witness it unfold. See, when you're chosen, you're not just living life. You're living under observation. The spiritual realm knows it. The physical world suspects it. And your enemies, they feel threatened by it. That's why you're constantly under scrutiny. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because your presence exposes what others are hiding. People who walk in falsehood can't breathe easy around someone walking in truth. So you'll notice how they get nervous around you, how they talk more when you say less, how they keep trying to provoke you just to see if you'll slip, just to prove you're not who you say you are. But they fail to understand. You're not trying to be chosen. You are. You didn't ask for this. You were born into it, marked by the divine, selected to carry something sacred. And whether you whisper or shout, it speaks through you. This is why you can't live like everyone else, why your path has been harder, lonelier, more painful. Because you were never meant to blend in. You were sent to stand out. You were called to disturb the comfort of darkness, to challenge what's fake, to shift atmospheres just by being. And now the weight of your calling is becoming undeniable. You're noticing how people treat you differently, some with awe, some with envy, others with subtle intimidation, not because of anything you've done, but because your presence forces them to look inward, and not everyone's ready for that reflection. So don't be surprised if you feel misunderstood, if people gossip about you without reason, if old friends turn cold, if coworkers start acting strange. That's not your fault. That's your frequency. It's higher now. And not everyone can handle the altitude. You're elevating, and those who aren't ready to rise with you will try to pull you back. Not always with words, but with energy, with resistance, with silence. But don't shrink. Don't apologize for what God put inside you. They're watching because they're waiting. Waiting to see if you'll fail. Waiting to see if you'll break. Waiting to see if you'll give up. Because if you do, it validates their own fear that greatness is impossible. But if you don't, if you keep rising, keep shining, keep walking forward, you force them to confront what they've been avoiding. Their own untapped power, their own ignored potential, That's the real reason they watch you so closely, because you remind them of what they could be. If they stopped doubting, stopped settling, stopped pretending. Chosen one, your journey is not just personal, it's prophetic. You are a walking message, a living mirror. You carry a light that exposes shadows. And some people, even if they don't understand it, are magnetized by it. They want to be near you. They want to learn from you. But others, they want to silence you, to discredit you, to make you question yourself. Not because you're wrong, but because you're right, and that scares them. You're breaking generational curses. You're rewriting narratives. You're walking in a truth that many have never even seen before. And that kind of light, it doesn't go unnoticed. You were never meant to be hidden. The world's been waiting for you to fully show up. And now that you are, the watchers are panicking. They see you healing from things that should have destroyed you. They see you loving yourself in a world that thrives on self-hate. They see you moving in integrity when lies are more convenient. And they know that once you fully awaken, once you fully activate, there's nothing they can do to stop what's coming. You feel it too, don't you? That pressure in the atmosphere, that weight on your shoulders, that sense that something massive is approaching. It's not just a feeling, it's spiritual, it's divine timing. You're stepping into a season where everything hidden will be revealed, where everything fake will fall away, and where those who've been watching from the shadows will have no choice but to witness your rise, not because you demanded it, not because you asked for attention, but because your obedience, your pain, your consistency, they're unlocking the very doors that others tried to keep shut. They watched you suffer. Now they'll watch you soar. They watched you struggle. Now they'll watch you succeed. And when they ask how, you won't have to explain a thing, because your life will be the answer. Your existence will be the proof that the chosen ones can't be stopped, that what's divine cannot be denied, that you were never alone. You were always being prepared. You were always being prepared. Every delay, every setback, every betrayal, none of it was meant to destroy you. It was all part of the training, a divine setup masked as pain. And the ones who watched you break, the ones who whispered, who doubted, who counted you out, they never expected you to rise from it all. But you did. And you're not just rising. You're transforming, quietly, powerfully, right in front of their eyes. This is why they're watching you even closer now. Because you're becoming the version of you that they thought was impossible. You're stepping into your fullness. And that makes people nervous. They don't know what you'll do next. They can't predict you anymore. You're no longer moving from pain or desperation. You're moving from purpose. You're no longer chasing validation. You're walking in confirmation. And the moment you stopped looking for approval, you became unstoppable. There's a glow about you now, not always visible in the mirror, but people feel it. That's why they stare a little longer. That's why strangers look twice. Why people seem drawn to you and afraid of you all at once. You carry the weight of someone who's been through fire and came out with wisdom instead of wounds. You don't talk much, but when you do, it lands deep. Because your words are no longer just words. They're keys. They unlock something in others. And the watchers, they notice that. That's why they try to copy your style, your energy, your peace. But what they fail to understand is, you didn't get this from the world. You got this from the war. They didn't see the nights you cried out in silence. They didn't feel the loneliness you endured, the silent battles, the unseen faith, the kind of growth that doesn't trend on social media. And yet, here you are, still arising, still becoming, still chosen. So now they want answers. How did you do it? What changed? But you know the truth. Everything changed when you finally remembered who you were. When you stopped fighting to be accepted and started accepting that you were never meant to fit in. Being chosen is not about being better. It's about carrying something different. A different assignment, a different resilience, a different level of obedience. And that's why you feel washed, because your life is no longer just yours. It's a message, a testimony, a sign. People watch because they want to see if the light inside you is real or if it's just for show. But your consistency is your answer. You're not just chosen by title. You're chosen by fire, by growth, by the fruit you produce when no one's looking. And that's the part they'll never understand, that you didn't ask to be watched. You didn't want the spotlight. You just wanted to heal, to grow, to be whole. But light cannot hide. And when it starts to shine, everything around it reacts. That's what you're seeing now, the reactions, the envy, the admiration, the curiosity, the fear. All of it is because your presence has become undeniable. You are no longer dimming yourself to make others comfortable. You are no longer holding back what God put inside you.